Welcome to the Employers Legal Lounge with your host, Michael Sullivan Associates Managing Partner, Eric De Wames. Each month, we dive deep into a specific topic to provide you with valuable insights and guidance for navigating the complex world of California employment regulations. This podcast is provided for informational purposes and does not constitute legal advice. Only your attorney, with complete knowledge of the facts and circumstances of your situation, can determine how the relevant laws apply. Now, on to the episode.
Welcome everybody to Employers Legal Lounge. I am Eric De Wames, Senior Partner and Manager for the Employment Law Department at Michael Sullivan Associates, and of course, your host today. One of my more important hats, of course, is your Government Advocacy Director for SHRM California. I say that because we are on location today in Sacramento for SHRM California's Legislative and HR Conference, our A3 conference annual. And we are here for a very special purpose, which is not only to educate our HR professionals, but also to get a chance to go to Capitol Hill and talk with our lawmakers and discuss some of the bills and the policies out there. So one of the things we're going to be talking about today in the podcast is legislative focused. Of course, we're going to talk a little bit about laws and of course the PAGA word a little bit. I cannot help but do it. So feel free to have your cheers and drink the drinking game as we go. But mostly about bills that are pending and what we're going to be doing this week. Because we're on location, I have so many great guests. And I can't miss the opportunity to interview as many as I can. One of those is sitting with me here already and is also a very valued colleague. He works with me at Michael Sullivan Associates in my employment law department. He is a superstar, rising star as a litigation trial attorney in employment law, and he is also SHRM San Diego's VP Legislative Director, and I think I got that title wrong, but he'll correct me in a second. So please welcome my dear friend and colleague, Joshua Stewart.
Hi, Eric. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Cheers, my friend,
Cheers.
and welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we're getting it started. So, Josh, you have an important role today at the conference, yeah?
Yes, that's correct.
So tell us a little bit about what you're doing today.
Yes, I am co-moderating a panel with state officials, and we hope to have a great discussion about important issues that HR professionals, that employers, that businesses need to know for the next year so that they can run the best operation they possibly can.
Yeah.
Sitting with Todd Ratchin he's a Deputy Director of Labor and Workforce Development. They oversee labor law enforcement, including PAGA reforms. So they have a very big portfolio for our members.
Well, you did say the P
yeah,
word,
here we
so
go.
I'll suspend in a little bit the rules, but that was the first one, so cheers.
Yeah, all right. To clarify, this is club soda.
Yes, and Diet Pepsi. It's 11 o'clock in the morning, people, so we're waiting for the more adult beverages for our cocktail hour later today.
Right. Also, we'll have Jennifer Osborne. She's the Director of the Department of Industrial Relations. She oversees key workplace compliance and labor issues and programs. And Nancy Farias, she's the Director of Employment Development Department. They administer unemployment and disability benefits, payroll programs, and other matters. It's trying to be as forward-looking as possible, get information that attendees can take home with them. Very pragmatic.
Yeah, it is. It's exciting to have the participation of not only lawmakers, but people who are implementing these laws with us and on these councils. And it's a rare opportunity at a conference that people congregate to do that. We even have a very special guest as well, Senator Smallwood Cuevas from District 28 in California. He'll be joining us as well, and the list goes on and on and on from Cal Chamber, and it goes on. And also a great thank you to a dear friend and somebody who made many of these attendance as possible. Secretary of Labor, Stewart Knox, for helping us all get together and have these wonderful panels. We really appreciate it and the opportunity. So what else do you have lined up?
So we also have visits with lawmakers in their offices on the horizon, talking about AI and how it's used in the workforce, workplace, talking about workforce development and, helping out employers who are kind of wearing two hats. They are also working as caregivers for family members, figuring out ways to support them, when they're kind of stretched thin. Yeah,
we're going to be talking about those. We chose three main topics this year: AI and workplace surveillance. Of course, one of the big ones. There's lots of bills that we have to deal with, and some others that we think are really important to help our workforce. Caregiving needs is a really big issue these days. And also, supporting that workflow of our next generation of workforce, tapping into those untapped pools, and making sure that, students into employment are getting those opportunities. And, that's one of the things that we do. And in addition to tracking all of these bills that are employment law related and working with the lawmakers to see if we can maybe adjust some of the language that's out there. Well, we'll chat about those in specificity a little bit later with some of our other guests. Before I let you go, though, Josh, since you get to see on the ground the type of work we do, and Josh, by the way, works in throughout the state on many of our cases, but is based in San Diego. So tell us a little bit about what you're seeing in litigation trends lately.
Yeah, so there's always, going on in the background at a steady rate. Workplace discrimination and harassment issues. Those, are always going on. Nothing too much changing with that. I would say the news is that it's going strong.
Yeah.
But what we are seeing more of is with the P word. I avoid having to make a shrink again.
Yeah.
And what we often see is situations involving employees that did not have the best experience with their employer. They're, almost always disgruntled, and, not necessarily disgruntled about, some sort of payroll issue.
Right.
It's some sort of personality clash. And there might not even be, something that is actionable under law, based on their tension with their employee. But, they go and they get a lawyer and they're looking at it and they look at the case and like, well, you don't have a harassment case.
Yeah.
You don't have a discrimination case. You don't have, any sort of these other, usually more salacious cases.
Yeah. But wait.
Their timekeeping, practices, their payroll practices are sloppy. And sloppy might be a little bit too grandiose of a term. California is very technical, very ticky-tacky with timekeeping policies, with rest break policies, with meal policies. If you don't get it right, you're in trouble. And it's kind of when you're in this situation, your goose is already half cooked. You have to dig yourself out. So it's an easy pickup for plaintiffs' attorneys to find something and find these cases where businesses even accidentally weren't 100% compliant with timekeeping and payroll records, and they will bring a suit both under the P word as well as a class action, which involves even greater exposure.
Yeah, if you don't have an arbitration agreement, you still stuck with the class action, but that's a different topic. Usually best idea to have an arbitration agreement so you at least get out of the class action in the 4 years.
Yeah.
And, especially for our listeners on the podcast, you've heard before, the biggest defense is doing these compliance audits. As Josh can, attest also, almost all of our clients are doing these audits as an affirmative defense to these actions before they ever happen to get those major caps, which is the 85% discount, right?
Yeah, and it serves two purposes. The discount, of course, and also, if you get your house in order, it eliminates liability.
Yep.
So
that is 100% true, and we're fighting the good fight. We're seeing a lot of employers jumping on the bandwagon to make sure they're compliant. And it's California. Plaintiffs' attorneys are going to assume there's something wrong, and the chances of you being perfect it's unlikely. Law's changing at the moment as we're doing this. So you always assume there's going to be something, but if you do that reasonable steps, you're going to have that defense, even if you miss something.
Right.
Right? So, Josh, thank you so much. Thank you for being here at the conference. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate you being here. You should come back in the podcast again sometime soon.
All right, thanks for having me.
And cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
Welcome back, everybody, and I have a very special next guest, but is just running in and out of here because, like I said, we're on location at our SHRM California conference, and he has much to do because he is our director for SHRM California, running around doing all the things, making the things happen. Please welcome my dear friend and our director for SHRM California, Andy Covell.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Cheers.
Cheers, my friend.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back. It's been
Yeah,
a minute.
It's been a minute since you've been in the lounge.
Yeah, it has been a minute.
Why haven't you? What's taking you so long? I had to actually come in person and grab you.
I mean, listen, it's always a good thing. That's good. Yeah, no, this is great. I'm glad you're doing this on location this time. It's phenomenal.
We're having wonderful guests. I'm just taking advantage of everybody being here and having the opportunity to be in person.
Absolutely.
So we've chatted already a little bit about the conference, but tell us what's going on.
Yeah, so what's happening at this conference? It's a phenomenal event, which is getting kicked off shortly, which is why I'm running out of here in a few minutes, with our president and CEO, Johnny C. Taylor Jr., who is
back in the house.
He's back in the house for a second year in a row, and he's going to do a fireside chat with everybody who knows Tara, of course.
Tara Fournier, my co-pilot. Everybody knows the podcast.
Absolutely. So we're going to talk about legislation because, California is California, and here we are, right? We're in the thick of it, and this is the best.
We lead the charge.
We lead the charge.
Yeah.
And Johnny has always said, whatever starts in California will ripple across the country. So, with your advocacy work that you're doing this week, we're going to talk a little bit about the bills that are being presented.
We're going to talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah, Johnny's going to dive into some of those topics, AI being one of them, or three of them.
It's much of what we're talking about on the Hill, for sure. So artificial intelligence is leading the way on these bills. Not all of them, drafted as we, would hope. But that's why we're here to chat with the lawmakers in Sacramento to have that opportunity to have that dialogue.
Absolutely. And then we do have a special guest, Senator Smallwood Cuevas, which is amazing. So following Johnny, we're going to have the senator here to have an engaging conversation as well.
The lineup's pretty special.
It's very special. Yeah, and AI leading it because, that's where we are today.
Well, that's the thing is, and we were talking about it before, is everybody's using AI. And whether, we know it or not, our employees are using it, businesses are using it. My, firm has developed our own AI that people use with our own books. Many firms are doing that. Lexus everybody's doing it. And it's just about doing it smart, doing it the right way, and doing it compliant in those ways. Are you seeing that trend as well?
I am, and I'm actually seeing a lot of it on the training side, which is interesting. So, part of what we're rolling out at this conference is a brand new partnership that SHRM California is embarking on with a company called AIHR, which is amazing. It's a training platform, a training and learning platform. So AI is the future.
AI is now.
AI is
now. And so that platform uses artificial intelligence to more efficiently train for HR certifications.
HR certifications, just continuing education.
I think if we're not doing that in our platforms, we are behind.
Absolutely.
Right. It is. It's not like, let's wait and see. That was 3 years ago. Is the wait and see. We're way past the wait and see.
Yeah. We are. I would agree 100%.
So it's an exciting opportunity where we have the unique opportunity. Many conferences just do these education and training and those types of things, which is great. But I think we have the only conference in California where we actually talk about these bills with our lawmakers.
Absolutely.
I think it's the only one. I haven't heard of it.
I think it is the only one as well.
And I didn't realize how special it was until I became the government affairs director and started doing it. And now I am just hooked. Right?
Great.
You don't go back after you actually say, I made a difference doing this.
Exactly.
It's fantastic. Well, my friend, thank you so much for stopping in. I know how busy you are. I've been watching you run around and I appreciate everything you do, and putting all of this together is not an easy job. So thank you for everything you do.
Absolutely.
And cheers.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anytime. Welcome back, everyone, and we have our next guest here for you, and it's an exciting lineup today. Again, we are here live and on location in Sacramento for our HR and Legislative Conference, and I have two very special guests with me here in the lounge. I'm going to start with my dear friend, Cherrity Ricks, and before we get started, I have a list of titles here to go through because you have so many hats, my friend. Cherrity is not only our president of Kern County SHRM, she is our certification director for CalSHRM, and her day job, compensation manager for Western Management Group. Please welcome my friend Cherrity. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Eric. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so glad you are here. And before we do our cheers, we have, somebody who actually needs no introduction because she has awards named after her. And anybody who is in HR knows our dear friend Nina Woodard. Nina, and I'll go through the many hats that Nina has as well. SHRM Southern Colorado Board Secretary, SHRM California State Council Professional Development Director, Rise Up Board of Directors, these are one of my favorite ones, Board Chair for Safe Place for Pets, I love that, and President and Chief Insights Officer, Nina E. Woodard and Associates, a division of Independence, Inc. Whew, it's a lot, and that's why she has awards named after her. Welcome, my dear friend, Nina Woodard.
Thank you so much, Eric. It's my pleasure and honor to be part of the conversation today.
Oh, so happy to have you both. And let's start with our cheers. Cheers to both of you. Welcome to the conference on day one. Here we go. Well, my friends, what I wanted to chat, we're going to talk about what we are going to be doing here this week, which is going to Capitol Hill. We'll talk about some of the bills and all of that kind of good stuff. But where I really wanted to start was with each of you, what you're doing independently in your roles and kind of the trends that you're seeing. And I was going to start with you, Cherrity, because I know you're out in Kern County, and I was just there and at your conference, I think was it last month, and had such a wonderful time. What a great conference you had. So tell me what's going on with all of your roles, what you're doing and seeing.
Yeah, so in Kern County, we have a lot of things going on. So we're in our third year of our mentorship program, and we have 14 pairings this year. So 14 mentees, 14 mentors through our connection with the student chapter at CSU Bakersfield. And that program is up and running. We've seen a lot of people get certifications out of it. We've seen people inspired to go on to school. We've seen people get jobs from it. And we've just seen people make, lifelong connections too. So it's been a great program.
That is amazing. And it's so important to create this space for our next generation of HR. I also do college relations for PIRA, which is one of the big chapters for SHRM as well. And we work very closely with SHRM College Relations, and it's just really important to find that mentorship. So to our listeners that are in HR as well, and especially if you're in Kern County and Bakersfield, reach out to Cherrity, reach out to me if you want to mentor these students. There's so many opportunities. They're looking for HR professionals that know what it's really like, right? To get excited about it. We just ask you don't scare them away. It would be nice, but at least
we're very kind.
Yes, yes. Don't give them war stories, but not the ones that are going to make them run. And invite them into the profession because we need that next gen with us and strong.
Yeah, absolutely. And they have so much to offer us too. Sometimes we call it reverse mentoring too. We're learning new things from them as well. So
their perspective is really, really important. And a lot of times we can't see it, right?
Right.
So unless you ask them,
yeah.
And they might be hesitant to say something because they are young and they're concerned about whether or not they have anything of value to add, right?
Absolutely.
That is one of the areas I think is the greatest opportunity for mentorship. And the reverse mentorship is a good point. Especially in what we're talking about, AI. They have a lot of points on this. They're using it in a very skillful way and ways that we're not really thinking of. And utilizing that skill set that they already have for the workplace is really important.
Yeah, so I recently picked up another job, another hat that I forgot to mention, actually.
There's
I'm
another
an
one I'll add it
adjunct
to the
professor at CSU Bakersfield, and I'm teaching Management 3100, Intro to HR Management. And I asked my class the other day, how many of you use AI? So nobody raised their hand, and I was like, okay, let's be honest here. I'm not talking about on your presentations you're turning into and those sort of things, right? They were a little nervous. But I said, how many of you use it in your daily lives, right? Every hand went up.
Yeah.
So our next gen, they're using it. I mean, they might not want to admit they're using it unless if they feel like it's a safe space, but they're using it. And they were saying they use it for scheduling. They use it for errands. They use it for school. They use it for everything they're doing.
Yeah, personal, work, whatever it might be. I think you're right. People are afraid to own it. But everybody's using it. Yeah, so we just have to be prepared and understand that, hey, this is our reality these days. And the other thing is I've noticed with students, especially because of the pandemic, they weren't quite used to being in person and interacting with people. And that's another way I think they need the mentorship of how to have those conversations and how to interview, because they've been so used to being behind screens. And I found when I'm mentoring, these HR students as well, that's where I'm trying to get them and getting them into group environments, meeting other students from other chapters, those types of things, all really important to help them out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think CalSHRM does a great job of that. We have our student case competition coming up, right?
Coming up.
Yes. And those students are always fabulous. I think I've judged the last 3 or 4 years, and they always amaze me. I take away ideas. I'm like, they're amazing.
Yep.
Every single team has something to offer.
Thank you for mentioning that, because I knew there was something I was supposed to mention that I forgot to mention, and that is that we are having the student case competition this weekend. And one of the things about the competition is SHRM California is offering a prize to one of the winners, and so is PIRA. SHRM offering attendance to our next conference, and PIRA offering to our CAR conference that's in May for the winning team. We've done that last year as well. I'll also be hosting them at a lunch coming up for those students so they can network with our HR professionals.
Love that.
So for those who are joining at CAR, and that is this coming May, it's also on my LinkedIn. Please join us, and then if you're there, please meet with the students and give them your support, mentor, get involved, all those wonderful things. And I keep interrupting you, so you have more hats. So keep on going, my friend. Keep on going.
I do. So I'm also a certification director for CalSHRM.
Yep.
And I have established monthly meetings with the different chapters. So we've been talking about all the certification topics that are near and dear, how to start a program. We're actually doing a joint effort between all of the Central Valley chapters. We're doing a joint certification program. We have 12 people in our program. We're on our 4th week.
Wow.
So that's great. We're really trying to get people certified any way that we can, right? Before it's been kind of a hurdle for the smaller chapters to get people certified. So I really hope, once piloting this program, to expand it out to Northern and Southern California too, to see what we can do there.
I have to say, since you took over this role, your organization skills are just next level.
That's kind.
Everything you touch is just immediately organized and set, so we appreciate that skill set you bring. You're just so brilliant at it.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's near and dear to my heart.
Yeah.
Besides student certification is something that I've always focused in on. I just think it helps you market yourself better as an HR professional. Immediately after getting my graduate degree, I got my SBHR and my SHRM SCP. I just feel like it helps you really stand out when you go to apply for a job.
It does.
Right? It shows that you have those skills, and it shows that you're constantly renewing those skills too, right? You're attending conferences, you're attending webinars, you're staying up to date with things.
I was actually part of SHRM when they decided they needed a certification, right? I've been around so long in SHRM, right? I joined in 1978, so...
1978.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so that was... and I was actually part of the first discussion around what it needed to be, why we needed to have it.
Yeah.
Like being a CPA, you need some kind of designation that shows their level of experience and knowledge. And I was also part of the transition from the SPHR posture, which is more tactical, to the competency model, which is more what we're using today with the BASC. And how important, it's not so much what you know, how you exhibit what you know that makes a difference and allows you to have impact in the community that you're working with, right? So I've been a blessed part of all of that since the transition of all of it. I think my name might still be in the books.
I should have known your hand was in it. It's amazing
Because
you've touched it.
Because I wrote a part, one of the sessions on the international part, when they were doing transitioning the books over to the new one for the competency approach. But it is so critical, I think, and it was such a big, bold move on SHRM's part. And then the shift from the tactical to the competency-based, again, very important and very strategic in terms of the way that they wanted everybody to think about what we do, right? So, yeah, I couldn't agree more with you that it is really, really important and something that all the chapters really need to embrace for their membership, right?
Yeah, and you're being humble. The work you did was foundational to where we are today. And setting those trends. And I mean, I'm sure for you, it probably looks so much different than it was just, 10, 20 years ago.
Absolutely.
In, I hope, a better way. But it took
much more. Well, at least now we see it in the newspaper when they're looking for,
right?
If you see any printed ads for HR jobs, most of them say at least preferred. SPHR, SPHR, or CP, SCP preferred, right? And SHRM. And, the divorce from HRCI to SHRM, that was a little bit difficult for everybody to achieve, but it was part of the growing process and the evolutionary process that had to take place for the certification. So, we both have our places. The
absolutely.
HRCI certification is important in one stream, and what we do in SHRM is really important. And how do you take that to work? Right.
That's why I got both of them. Well, right? It's the best of both worlds.
Well, it's great to have in a resume, but also with all of my clients my direct contact is, always HR.
Right.
What they say is these certifications also give them the confidence to deal with these ever moving things, right? Because it's not a static industry. It's constantly changing. Right.
More so now than ever before, I think.
Absolutely.
I think it's unprecedented times in that regard, for sure. And it is that not only the knowledge base, but also the confidence base to know, hey, whatever that new thing is, I got this, right?
Yeah.
And the material is going to be out there for me to learn, but I already have the foundation for it. And it makes a huge difference of whether they can handle it on their own or whether they need an attorney, to call it. And they also know the difference of when they need it and when they don't.
That's why a SHRM membership is so important, right? You can call those knowledge advisors. They can give you that information that you need. And sometimes they'll tell you, hey, reach out to your employment attorney.
Right.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
They know those bounds and they can help you reach them.
Where's the line?
Yeah. So being a part of your local chapter where you're getting the networking, you're getting the certification programs, and then being a part of national where you're getting everything else, including the knowledge advisors, is foundational.
It's an amazing gift.
It is.
And I teach recertification classes too. Now I do them mostly virtually, but I've done them live as well.
Yeah.
I love that. Of course you did. I should know that too.
What don't you do? And let's talk a little bit about that too, because I don't want to miss the opportunity, because we have, which we started last year, the Nina E. Woodard Award that is now given every year at this conference. Yes, last year was the first year, of course, to you for your dedicated and amazing service since the 70s for SHRM and the HR industry. So, what is that like, for you in seeing where we are and where it started, having an award named after you, all of those wonderful things?
I was honestly just blown away, because you took pictures of it.
I was right next to you.
That's my favorite picture from the whole conference of you like this.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I was so blown away. I'm getting goosebumps right now, even just thinking about the moment. It was so amazing. I say, I'm a great grandmother and I have 4 amazing great grandchildren, and holding them when they were first born and new babies, I'm going like, oh my gosh, this is legacy. This is going to live forever. When I got the award, I felt like had that same feeling, right?
Aww.
This is something about me that's going to live forever that I'm eternally grateful to SHRM for, and CalSHRM especially. And what made it even more meaningful is the number of people in that room and on the stage that are people that I've mentored and worked with and supported, right? So I knew that what they were honoring me with was coming from as a result of my interaction with them over years and years of service to HR and the profession and businesses and the chapters across the state and SHRM on a global basis too.
I can tell you personally, you make such a huge difference, and you continue to. And you're such a value. So thank you for all of that. And this year, somebody gets to have a Nina E. Woodard Award to be announced later today.
Yay!
So that will be announced later. So thank you, for all of that. We deeply appreciate you.
Well, the career has really been something, and I always tell even my students when I'm teaching, and I teach for University of Arizona Global Campus now in the HR program, and I always tell them, we have a SHRM student chapter at UAGC, and I always tell the students, join that chapter, join SHRM now.
Absolutely.
Now's the time to really connect, right?
Yep.
Because SHRM has been my partner my whole career.
Yeah.
It's what helped me launch into HR in the first place and take it seriously. And it's grown with me at every step of my career, all around the world, literally all around the world. So if there's ever been anybody who's really been dedicated to SHRM and stayed a member and grown in their membership on, from every level, I don't know anybody else like me that's still doing what we're doing. But that's how much I really believe in SHRM as a value partner for growth, because it does evolve. It has evolved over time. Mm-hmm. It's grown so much since the very beginning of its inception. It's just a year older than me.
Well, that's why we volunteer, because we all have day jobs, right? That are 24/7 day jobs, and we find time to volunteer because it's important. Which is one of the things I wanted to also chat about, because we have our day jobs. Everybody knows I'm an attorney, but you guys have your day jobs in HR. And what types of trends are you seeing right now that our listeners can pick up on to watch out for?
Well, I from my perspective, one of the biggest ones is the way that HR interacts with leadership about AI and technology and advancements.
Huge. Yep.
Yeah.
Right? So I was around when Facebook was first rolled out, and I remember the very first thing that HR did was write policies against it. Right?
Yep.
Do not use that word.
Yep.
Do not. If you bring it on your, device to work, only check it during your break and lunch hour kind of thing.
Absolutely.
And all the policies were no. But in a year, everybody's using Facebook as a tool to communicate with their employees.
Yeah.
So the biggest trend that I see is that our first focus on the way we look at new technologies is to ban it.
Yep.
Rather than say, okay, what's this all about? And let's see how we can really enhance this and bring it to life in our organization and what benefit it can bring for us, right? And so I think the trend that I'm seeing now is the shift from that banning process to trying to figure out how do we integrate it and make it useful for our people and for us as a business, because there's so much that it can offer.
Absolutely.
I just went to a session that the executive director of the Chamber of Commerce in Colorado Springs did, and he used an agent. He doesn't have any people in his office, it's just him, and he has an AI agent that does all their phone calls and scheduling and everything. Yeah. And he introduced us to that agent, and it was amazing. Yeah. And it says, I'm an agent, and it's not like he's lying to anybody. He tells them he's an agent and he's what he's all about and why he's using the agency, and that a live person will get to him. But and he does make sure that he does respond and follow up. But there's so many gifts buried in AI today that we have no idea about. Yeah. So the trend that I'm seeing is that shift from the banning to the acceptance. But then how do you explore it? And what are the tools to explore it? I know SHRM is helping out with that too.
Yeah, it's a great segue, because AI and workplace surveillance go hand in hand and are a focus of our topics going to the Hill tomorrow, because as we predicted, it would definitely have bills at issue. It did last year.
Yeah.
None of them that were of importance for employers passed. Most vetoed, like SB 7.
Right.
But we are here again now. And I've mentioned this before to our listeners. We have a position of AI is here. Everybody's using it.
Absolutely.
And whether we know it or not, like you said before, not everybody cops to it, but everybody is using it. Your employees are using it. You need AI policies in your handbooks, whatever industry you might be in, because there are risks that are associated with it. But it's important to continue to embrace it and not over-regulate it and not have a knee-jerk reaction to it.
Yep.
So doing it in a measured way. So when we approach our lawmakers on these bills, it is, not to say you shouldn't regulate at all. It is doing it in a way that employers aren't afraid to use it and push us forward to the next level. So we have tomorrow, actually 3 bills we're going to the Hill about. All of them we are opposing as written, but always offering to redline. So I'm going to mention, a few of those just so we kind of have them on the forefront of our mind. These are proposed bills. They are not passed. We are talking with lawmakers about what our concerns are. One of those is SB 947. Now, SB 947 is almost a repeat of SB 7 that was vetoed by the governor in September. The reason it was vetoed seemed to be because of the overregulation. Now, what it does is basically it regulates our ability to use AI in disciplinary actions, in performance issues with employees, and how we use it. And it's coined the no robo-bosses law.
Right.
Saying, and I think this is a good part of it, making sure that there's human involvement in decisions. I don't think we ever let go of that because AI gets it wrong, right?
They do. They
well,
can.
It makes stuff up. I mean, it does. It fills
It
in
hallucinates.
gaps.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it has access to so much data that it will take the pieces of data and then fill the gaps between it if it
Yep.
doesn't have anything solid
Yeah.
to fill it with.
Yeah.
So if you don't check it out and make sure that it's all really legit, you're
Yep.
going to fall into a rabbit hole, right?
It is. It's not a human. It's not thinking about all the other, ways it
just
could get
the
it wrong.
data.
It's just
Right.
data. And it's,
Well, and that's why people are always going to keep their jobs as long
Right.
as they're upskilling and reskilling, right?
I love the saying that the only person that's going to lose their job because of AI is the one that doesn't know how to use it, right?
I think that's
Yeah.
that's 100% true.
Yeah.
We can't ignore it. And in these moments, yes, human interaction always needs to be involved in these moments. But the problem with 947 is it goes a little bit too far in the restrictions. There's notice requirements, giving opt-out for employees of actually using it if it's involved in any way, shape, or form in a decision, and you have to, we use AI for all sorts of things that we don't even realize.
Right.
And if it's in even a nuanced way had an impact on a decision, not only do you have to give notice about it, but you have to give access to your employees about those decisions going back 12 months, right? So, I mean, think about, when you let go of somebody for performance and they get access to all emails that had, any, part of, the decision, and you'd have to go through. And they already get their personnel files and all that kind of stuff by law. But going through that is just, it's an overkill, and
Really?
nobody's going to use
is. No one's
AI.
gonna use it anymore.
Nobody's going to,
Yeah.
and the consequences, or it could be a PAGA action, right? There it is.
Do we drink
Oh,
to
sorry.
that?
Okay. Cheers. It's a PAGA drinking game, Nina.
Cheers.
Sorry.
Woo.
It's just Diet Pepsi.
We'll be good.
But for now, yes, for now. The other one is 1898, which is a workplace surveillance one. We have to watch out for workplace surveillance. It is tethered to AI, but it goes beyond that. It's any ways that we are surveilling our employees, whether it is facial recognition, whether it is they're punching in and punching out, whether it is GPS tracking, if they're remote employees, how we're tracking their time, and all of these things in any way, shape, or form are tracked, has a lot of guardrails on it, and it's going to be very hard to comply with. That's another one we're going to the Hill and chatting about. And the one that I have a lot of concern about is SB 951. It's kind of the AI WARN Act. So we know about WARN, right? And we already have California WARN, we have federal WARN, all these obligations when there's layoffs.
Yes.
This goes one step, I think several steps further, in that now it applies to all employers, by the sense that it essentially says, if you in any way are taking away part of a job or any job from somebody and giving it to AI, There is a 90-day notice period for it.
So long. That's so long.
Right? It could be any portion. They don't have to actually lose their job. It's any job duties or whatever. And now it's to employ, and it says to 25% of your employees, but there's no cap. So if you have 2 employees and you let go of one,
that's
right. So it's to all employers, and who's going to be impacted here are, again, our small businesses. This is my biggest concern
really
about a lot of these laws, is our small businesses are just trying to get by. And
they're the generation, they're what generates the economy.
What? Yes.
60% of the economy is based on small businesses.
Yep. And when they get hit with one of these, and each of these, by the way, gives a private right of action, so can have these representative actions associated with it, and it's uninsurable, and they're going to have a real problem. If so, they need some limits, some parameters, and not going so in depth where it just applies across the board. Otherwise, we're just not going to have AI, and people are going to be afraid of it. Right?
For sure.
Yep.
The other thing in this the other trend, is it okay if I go?
Oh, please.
Direction?
Yeah.
And you share this with, put your input in this too, Cherrity, if you have any thoughts on it. In the United States, since 2020, when we shut down the country, we have not had 5 minutes of peace. Not 5 minutes of peace. We fought COVID.
Yep.
Then we came into the election cycle. Then we came into the new presidency, and we've had nothing but a whirlwind since the new presidency came into being. We all have PTSD.
Yep. Preach. You were right. You were right.
We do a lot in HR and HR adjacent roles, right?
Yeah.
We all have PTSD, and that is what makes things so complicated right now, because it's the first time in my recollection of life that the country has experienced the same trauma all together at the same time.
That's true.
And we're all living the results of that. And it's part of why there's so much need for connectivity now, so much need for more people, so much more people contact, human contact.
Yep.
So much fragility, I'm going to call it fragility, in the young people today, because of all of that that they've lived through already and experienced. And so I think for me, it's always been helpful to think about it as coming out of PTSD, because if we think about the trauma that all of us have experienced, then our policy and our position and our posturing is going to be much more caring in terms of the way, and it's why the big need for empathy, more empathy today than ever. And how do you take your senior operations specialist who's operation, driven, execution driven.
Yes.
And how do you help them be empathetic and allow some grace where there needs to be grace, but also follow the rules where they need to follow the rules. Make them wear their steel-toed boots, make them wear their hard hats, but love them when they do it, right?
Yeah. What, keeping the humanity in it.
Yes, exactly.
Especially now.
And the kindness. It's really not that hard to reach out a little bit more and do a little bit more, put yourself in their shoes. Right. Absolutely.
Right. And so that's one of the trends that I see now that's coming back into HR in a more profound way, is the mixing of how do you use the technology and how do you keep it human?
Yep.
And what are the things that we can do? Because it can't all be touchy-feely. It has to be all bottom line related too. So we've got to still keep that posture of how this is good for the business. But being good to the people has never been more important than it is right now if you really want to succeed.
Yeah, those are wise words, and I could not agree more. I spent a lot of time preaching about the law and being compliant and all those things. That's why I always tether it with my HR professional friends, because there's a balance between, yes, you got to stay compliant, but there's a humanity component about how we treat our workforce, right? And where that balance is, and not trying to go too far, where we're falling out of compliance by doing the no good deed goes unpunished situation, right?
Yeah.
But still understanding that people are experiencing these things together in real time, this PTSD component that you were talking about, and building that in, right? That goes into one of the other topics that we have going to the Hill. We can't talk about all of it because of time, but one of our other topics is promoting more benefits for those who are doing caregiving these days, right? And it's happening more and more and more. I have two older parents. My dad's 94, my mom's 88. I have a 14-hour a day job, but I still spend every day doing, taking care of them as well. And everybody has that, right? We have, in some shape or form, if not now, eventually people are going to have these caregiving needs. So what we're promoting, and many states have done already, and I'm actually kind of surprised California hasn't, because we usually lead in these areas, right?
We normally lead the way.
is giving tax credits and benefits to those who are caregivers, right? And who are, expending the money, missing time at work, all those types of things. So there's some benefits there, and can support, and also, supports those people that need the caregiving as well, and have that, that help. So that's something where there's no specific bill attached to it. This is our proposition going to the Hill and talking to lawmakers, saying this is something we need to think about. And we're here also because we have great drafters also to help draft these things and help for 2027 to get these things across the table.
I'm really looking forward to going to the Hill again this year. It was my favorite part of the conference, other than watching Nina win her award.
That was my
last
favorite part
year.
too. That was my favorite.
It was amazing experience meeting with the lawmakers and sitting down and sharing our HR perspective, right? Because sometimes they understand it from their legal perspective. Or, sometimes they've talked to their constituents and those sort of things, but they haven't heard it from our HR perspective. And that, I think, is just really unique. So critical. And so critical, right? Because we should talk more about what we care about, right? So we advocate for that.
You can't really describe it in words until you've done it and you're actually there and you're seeing that they're listening to you for the most part. Almost every single one of them actually wanted to hear what the response was. And I think that a lot of what we did and some of the pushback made a difference in the ultimate laws and the red lines and some of the laws that didn't actually come out eventually because the voices were heard.
I mean, they were listening. They were taking notes. Oh, you would take that part out? Oh, you would change it here. Oh, great.
That was another, and again, I've just been around too long because I was part of the discussions around when the state councils came into being, right? Yeah. And I was in California and I was part of PIRA at the time. And a bunch of us met and we said, we want this conference to be in Sacramento and we want it to be legislative advocacy focused because that's the only value add that we as a state council can actually give to the chapters because they all do great conferences like you just did, right?
Yeah.
And we don't want to interfere with that because that's your bread and butter.
Yep.
Correct.
But what can we do that's different at the state level? And I think, we have, and you have and you and Michael have really brought it to a new level in the last couple of years. And I think SHRM recognizes that level too. And certainly they do something similar at the leadership conference that they have.
And now we're all part of the A-team, right? If you're a SHRM member, you're part of the A-team, which was a great addition.
Move. And I would just, anybody that's going to listen to us talk about this, I would just encourage them to take it to the next step, which is to help their chapters meet with their representatives when they're home. And in their home, because they really listen then too, and you have the power of meeting with those people where the votes come from. And if you carry the voices of the same HR voice that you're helping to give what we're doing here to those local visits, which I'm sure you have the information out there for them to take. It really does make a huge impact.
Yeah, your educated voice needs to be heard.
It is. And I think people get a little intimidated about, it must be hard to actually talk to my local. It isn't. It's actually, we set up all of these meetings and it's, harder for us because we had so many people to organize. But, as an individual, you send an email, you get a response. And they set up a meeting. And, it can be, by phone, it can be by email, it can be by Zoom, you can go and do a drop by. And you have that opportunity to do it. And it is much easier than people think. And it's so much better. And the reason I did it is, I got tired of complaining about the laws after they were already here. Right? We have the opportunity to make change. And we see the bills happening. And we can anticipate what's that going to look like in 2027 if this passes. No, wait. let's help, right? Let's
Yeah.
talk about this
Let's see
before
what
it
we can
happens.
do.
I wish
Why fix it on the back end? Let's fix it on the front
Yeah.
end.
Yeah, I wish I could have done that before
Let's
Paga.
be strategic, right? Paga.
Oh, there we
Oh,
go.
yeah.
And since you have your glasses up as well, we're definitely long on time, but when you have guests like mine, you do not stop. And thank you everybody for sticking with us. It has been an absolute pleasure to have both of you on. And thank you to my other guests today, and to everybody out there listening and watching. Thank you for joining us in the lounge, and we will see you next time. To my guests, cheers, my friends.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening to the Employers Legal Lounge podcast, presented by Michael Sullivan and Associates. Remember to subscribe on your favorite streaming platform so you never miss an episode. We release new content every month, ensuring you stay informed about the latest developments in California employment law. If you have any questions, topic suggestions, or would like to be a guest on our show, don't hesitate to reach out to us at msa.news/podcast. We'll see you next month with another episode of Employers Legal Lounge.